Hi, my name is Robin May. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so sorry it's been a minute. As you guys know, I started 9 to 5, and to be honest, I've been struggling to adjust to the lack of time. They say 9 to 5, but it's really like 8 to 7 because by the time I get home and I shower and I settle back in, it's like 7 o'clock, and then I eat dinner, and then it's 8 o'clock, and then before you know it, I need to go to bed to get up. So if I never understood this before, I am so sorry for not being more of an empath. I totally get it now. It is exhausting and sometimes feels all-consuming, but I'm back on track. We're filming, we're editing, and let's get back to our weekly episode. This is one I've been particularly excited to do, and it is all about spring trends. Now, I know it feels kind of late going into spring, but I think we forget that spring is actually from basically the end of March until mid-June. So it actually kind of overlaps some of our summer trends as well. But I really want to focus on what I think we're going to see a lot of in the next 2 months and what will definitely carry in to the summer. My laptop here with all of my saved pins that I've saved over the past couple months, and I feel like this is my best way to predict trends, is like what am I gravitating towards and what am I seeing a lot of. I will be sharing all the images on the screen so you can kind of follow along with me. I am obsessed with color blocking. Multiple different colors on different portions of your body. Absolutely love. I think we're going to see it a lot with pastels this spring, which I think is kind of common. We see a lot of pastels in the spring. I think we're going to get a little bit more bold and playful with how we do this. I think we're going to kind of pick all different colors, not just like in the same kind of monochrome way, but we're going to see like butter yellow on top. We're going to see blue as a skirt. We're going to see a pink sock. That's kind of the vibe that I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of. Speaking of color blocking, I just want to say that the most popular color we are going to see this spring is teal. Hands down, it's going to be teal every single time. Like teal tops, a lot of teal tops actually, a lot of teal shoes, maybe even some teal bags. I think when it comes to teal, we're also going to see this particularly paired with a bunch of other colors. I'm seeing teal paired with pink a lot, baby pink, hot pink, more of a fuchsia. I think we're going to see teal with a lot of variations of brown, dark brown, tan, beige, all of those kind of colors as well. And I think we're going to see it paired with olive green. And we're not going to forget about butter yellow. Butter yellow is a given. I also have taken a very strong liking to a teal or baby blue combo with burgundy and red. You guys already know about this, but I think teal with a rich like cherry red looks so sexy to me and just like juicy and colorful and playful, so I'm loving that combination. I also think this spring we're going to be seeing a lot of texture, specifically in hides, mohair, suede. Usually we start to kind of fall off of the leather train now as it starts to get a little bit warmer and more humid. So I think we're still going to see colorful leathers, but we're going to see a bit less of like black leathers. And if we are going to see a black leather, I feel like it's going to have something else to it. Maybe a croc, maybe a patent, maybe a pebbled kind of leather. If we are seeing more leather in the spring, I think it's going to need to have texture, and especially if it's black. Then we're going to see a ton of hides. We've already seen it. A lot of animal printing. I personally love a cowhide bag. I love a cowhide accessory, a shoe, pony hair. I've been noticing this deer print recently. So it's like that tan with white speckles in it. That is definitely going to be on trend. We're not going to see these hides in a ton of jackets. I think that's kind of a given. But when it comes to accessories, I'm obsessed with a shoe, a bag. I actually think some brand should tap into doing some like hide bangles. I would buy that. I would love like a cowhide watch or a bangle or some sort of statement bracelet or sleeve. Like I just think that would be so hot. So I think we're gonna see that a lot. I think if brands can tap into doing mini skirts or shorts out of hides, that would be really sexy. We just had Coachella. I feel like if you didn't tap into that for Coachella, you missed the mark a little bit for me, because that's what I would have worn. Oh my god, should I make that video about that, of like what I would have worn to Coachella if I went? I might be onto something with that. Belts. Let's just talk about belts for just a whole moment outside of the hides and leathers. Obviously, if you can get a hide or a leather belt, chef's kiss. But we are gonna see those belts and those layerings come back. We saw it a lot last year. I think people picked up on it towards the end of the summer. So I think that's gonna be one of the major things we see from now, honestly, all the way into the winter. Like, we're gonna see these belts being layered until you have to start pulling your parka out. I love this moment. I think people are starting to understand why accessories work and how much they can elevate simple pieces. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think we're going to see mid-waist belts, like bringing back that very like hourglass shaping and silhouette, and we're going to see it low-waisted for any of the girls who like something a little bit baggier, or I just love a low waist like midi skirt or maxi skirt paired with a belt. So good. Okay, let's just take a moment to talk exclusively about bags. There has been over the past few years a huge resurgence of vintage designer bags and everybody having a knack for it, and I absolutely am here for that. However, I've been seeing the resurgence of a lot of the same bags, and I feel like we're kind of missing the mark on the whole point as why people are going into the archives to get bags, and that is for the uniqueness, the embellishments, the quality, the structure, all of these things. I think if you're going to go designer and you're gonna go vintage, go all out. Don't just go back to the archives to get a black leather vintage bag. I'm kind of calling myself out because I'm not gonna lie, all of my vintage designer bags are black. However, if you've been following along, you understand that I'm transitioning out of that phase, and I'm just here to encourage you to do that as well, because this is what I'm doing. I have seen so many cool ass bags, and I'm like, why have I been gravitating so much towards black? Let's have fun. Like, let's pick something that's fun, let's pick something that's playful, let's pick something that like actually adds onto your outfit instead of hiding it. So I think we're gonna see a resurgence of vintage designer bags, but we're gonna start to see them be more embellished and more colorful. So I'm talking distinct hardware, I'm talking fringe. Let's come back to fringe. I'm seeing more like Art Deco straps, seeing more prominent bows, I'm seeing bigger bags. I'm not really seeing a mid-sized bag. I'm seeing either a very baby small bag or a very oversized bag for spring and summer. Let's talk about fringe for a moment. We just touched on it. Fringe is something that I think in the mid 2000s, so like the 2010s, it was done so poorly that it made us all hate fringe. Now, if we go back to the 90s, the 80s, even the 70s, fringe was done so well. It was not cringe. I want to see fringe. I want to see fringe on jackets. I want to see fringe on bags. I want to see fringe on shoes. I want to see fringe on like a bracelet. Like, again, like I'm loving this like chunky kind of like cuff, and then imagine it's like chunky cuff and there's like fringe hanging down. That would be such a cute touch on an outfit. I want to see fringe on like the back of tops. I think that's so sick. We're not doing that 2010s, but we're in 2010-ish when people would get t-shirts and they would like cut them and you'd have all these little slivers of fringe coming from your t-shirt. I did this in elementary school. We're not going that type of fringe. We're going like a little bit more elevated than that. And when I say fringe, I'm also referring more about the texture of it than the presence of like long fabric, if that makes sense. Okay, let's take a beat. Let's talk a little bit about sunglasses. I am a sunglass. I feel like I'm so lucky because my face kind of suits all sorts of frames, so I can definitely get away with doing super small, super oversized. I want to see more oversized frames. I love an oversized frame, specifically when the lenses are light. I don't want to see giant oversized black sunglasses. I want an oversized colorful frame with a light lens. Obviously enough protection so that the sunglasses are actually doing something, but I'm kind of tired of like the dark frame, dark lens combination. I feel like that's kind of overdone. I feel like it's very hangover coated and it's quite chic, but I'm over it and I want to see more pops of color, and I want to see your eyes a little bit with the sunglass. Like, I think there's like this whole mystery of doing a dark lens. I get it, whatever, it's kind of just overplayed for me. I feel like if you're gonna get up and do your makeup every day and then you want to accessorize, but then you feel like your sunglasses are kind of taking away from the look because it's covering so much of your face, like you shouldn't have to compromise on makeup and sunglasses. So I feel like an oversized frame that has light lenses is perfect because you're still gonna see the effort you put into your makeup, how beautiful your eyes probably are, and still get the look and of giving a little bit more, you know? Last thing I really want to talk about is shoes. I've been saying this for a long time. I'm in my heels era, so I'm going to talk specifically about heels. I will honorably mention sneakers and flat shoes for the girlies who love comfort. I want my feet to look sexy. I want them to look delicate. I want them to honestly kind of stand out. I feel like we went through an era where we all wanted to just like hide our feet or something, and I get that, but I think that era is over. It's time to start taking seriously how you accessorize your feet, okay? So for shoes, I want to see all the embellishments. I love like a chainmail on a sandal heel. Let's bring back some sequins. I want to see florals on heels. I want to see thong sandals. I want to see as many of your toes as possible. I don't know, but the more toes you have exposed, the more you can accessorize, because toe rings are back. I started re-wearing my toe ring a year or two ago, and it is quite literally my favorite accessory. I only take my toe ring off now because I wear a lot of closed toe pumps at work. Otherwise, that toe ring is stuck on me. Like, I need to have my toe ring. I absolutely love it. Accessorize your toes, thank me later. I think we need to also stop with the white toes. Like, I get it, I like it when you have tan skin, you have a fresh white toenail, it's really pretty. Obviously we've seen a huge resurgence of a French tip toe, which I love, but I think that it's for a very specific shape of toenail. I personally like keeping my toenails a bit shorter. I can't have the length that I would to have a French tip. It's not comfortable for me. Let's be a little bit more playful with the toes. Like, I think a baby pink toe, I think a red toe, I think a teal toenail. Like, we can stop just doing one thing and be like, this is the best, like this is the sexiest one. Like, no. When I went to Miami, I did a red toe and I was so obsessed. I accessorized it with a silver toe ring and it looks so good in every one of my shoes. It also just worked with the palette of colors that I was doing, but I think a red toe just gives a pop anyways. If you're wearing all black and you have a black sandal and a red toe, like, why not accessorize in that way also? Like I said, all of the embellishments for your sandal heels. I want to see belt buckles, I want to see studs, I want to see flowers. I want to see those extra details that I think we forget about. I think we've gone so simple with our heels. Like, I feel like everyone's like, oh, I just like it clean and simple. Like, no, let's add what we can on. I love when there's almost like a strap that comes up the foot, even if it's not a thong sandal. I think that looks so sexy. It elongates the foot in a very feminine way. I want to see straps and I want to see fringe and I want to see feathers. Feathers, I think overall can come off a little bit tacky, but when they're done correctly and styled right, they look so hot. Like, I just love them. That's what I'm thinking. When it comes to flat shoes, I think we're gonna see a lot of people in a flat thong sandal. I'm not opposed to that. It's affordable, it's cute, it goes with everything, they're easy to pack. Not mad at it at all. If you want to elevate it a bit, still have comfort, but you want a little bit of height, get a wedge thong sandal. I already bought my pair for the summer. I know I'm going to be wearing that all of the time and I don't feel like wearing an actual heel, and I feel like it's the perfect daytime shoe. It also looks so good with an oversized pant or short or skirt. Like, it kind of just looks good with everything, so I think you can't go wrong. We're talking about ballet flats, loafers, just overall flat shoes, even sneakers. I think we're gonna see that cowhide coming in to this. I love a cowhide shoe. I love a cowhide ballet flat, a slipper, a sandal, a heel. So I think if we're gonna go flat, let's also think texture. I personally don't love seeing a ton of hardware on flat shoes. I think it kind of is distracting, but not in a good way. Like, it draws attention to your feet, but not in a sexy or feminine way, in my opinion. So I would probably stay away from doing like any of those loafers that have like hardware or buckles or chain designs. Like, I'm just not really loving that. However, if it's Gucci, it's fine. I also think when we're thinking of a sneaker, having a pop of color is the way to go. And if you're gonna go for a black shoe, get something that has maybe a bit of a chrome detailing, not necessarily hardware, but like the lace loops are chrome, or the stripes on it are chrome, or just like some of those details are chrome. I think that can also elevate it, and you can get away with wearing it during the day and at night, which I think if you're looking for all around comfort, you want that versatility in a sneaker. So I think we kind of touched briefly on animal prints. I think I talked more about it with texture, but when it comes to prints this summer, I know a lot of Cavalli's coming back. I'm seeing a lot of Pucci coming back, a lot of Versace, brands that have been known and loved for their prints. I think prints are gonna heavily lean into animal style printing versus florals or just color block striping. I think if we are gonna color block, like I said, it's going to be itemized. With prints, we're gonna see a lot of printing in tops, and then we're gonna see a lot of printing in denim. After looking at my Pinterest, I feel like that's all of my predicted spring trends, and these are also trends that I can speak to, that I will be tapping into, and that I want to see more of in my closet and my styling. I just want to end off this video by saying, this is never coming from a judgmental place. This is coming from a place of passion and a place of curiosity and interest. And if you share these similar interests, the same curiosity, the same passions around fashion and styling, then I hope this resonated with you. This is just my subjective opinion on how I'm consuming these trends. It's just like a fresh perspective on how you can also interpret these trends. I will say that so far with my color combinations, I have been spot on. So again, if you are looking for a little advice on how to spice things up in your wardrobe, this might be the video for you. And if you want to see more of this style content on my Instagram or TikTok as a carousel, as a video, or as a highlight, please let me know. I actually would love to have this in a short form format so that it's a little bit more digestible and you don't have to sit here if you don't want to. So I want to put this information in short form in a way that you will have access to it and be able to go back to it. So let me know what that form is for you, and I will make sure that I get onto posting that. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to get back on track with all of my filming, and I will see you all very, very soon.